Welcome back. Today we're discussing Chapter 2 Alpha. In this chapter, we're going to learn about verb moods. So first, let's do a little introduction to the indicative and the imperative mood, which apply to both Greek and English. The indicative mood is used to express statements and questions about reality or fact. So an example of a simple statement is Dikaiopoulos loves his house. Loves is in the indicative mood. In Greek, you already learned the indicative mood for the third singular. Ho Dikaiopoulos ton oi kon phile. Phile is the third singular indicative. An example with a question is, does he love his house? English is a little complicated and the verb has two parts, does love. But in Greek, it's the same as the question indicative is the same as the statement indicative. Ton oi kon phile, where phile is now a question word as indicated by the semicolon at the end of the sentence, which is the Greek question mark. The imperative mood, by contrast, is used to express commands. So an example of a command in English is hurry. In Greek, the form is speude. Another example, love, in Greek, phile, and speak, in Greek, lege. So now that we've looked at the moods, let's go and learn some specific forms. For the Greek indicative, eventually we'll learn that there's a first singular, second singular, third singular, first plural, second plural, third plural. In English, first singular, I say, second singular, you say, third singular, he, she, it says. Plural, we say, you all say, and they say. In Greek, we'll learn the plural forms later, so let's focus on the singular for now. We already know the third singular ending, but today we learn that the first singular ending is o, the second singular ending is ace, and you can add on the third singular that you already learned, a. So if we take an example verb like Lego, in the first singular it's Lego, second singular leges, third singular lege. We call this a thematic verb, and in the first chapter we learned some verbs that follow this pattern where the third singular has the accent on the first syllable and an unaccented ending. But we also learned in that same chapter, 1 alpha, some verbs in the third singular looked like phile with a circumflex over the last syllable. These are what we call epsilon contract verbs, and phile is actually a contraction of phile, the stem, plus the ending a. When the vowel contracts with the diphthong, the first epsilon disappears and the whole thing gets a circumflex. In the dictionary, from now on out, you'll be learning epsilon contracts in the first singular, and it will look like phileo. The dictionary provides it to you in this form so that you know that it's an epsilon contract. But when you actually see it in a reading, you'll see the contracted form. Again, the epsilon disappears. We're left with simply an omega, and it's going to have a circumflex over it. So the first singular of an epsilon contract verb is philo. The second singular uncontracted form would be philees, and the form that you'll see in your readings is philees. So to review, philo is I love, philees, you singular love, and phile, he, she, it loves. As usual, to be is irregular, and so you just have to memorize the forms. The first singular, I am, is ami. Second singular, you are, is a, and the third singular you already learned is estin, which is he, she, or it is. You learned that estin, the third singular, is an enclitic, so is ami, the first singular. So ami will have the same accent rules as estin. A is not an enclitic and will always retain its circumflex. Now let's take a moment to look at the imperative form. Imperatives exist in the singular and plural, but we will learn the plural later. By nature, all imperatives are second person because you're directly addressing the person you're giving a command to. In Greek, the ending for singular imperatives is epsilon. For thematic verbs, you take the stem leg, you add the epsilon, and you get simply lege. We'll talk later about how to place accents on verbs. This means speak. For epsilon contract verbs, it gets a little more complicated because the stem already includes an epsilon. Now when we add a second epsilon, will have two epsilons in a row, which will contract to the diphthong epsilon iota. Again, we'll learn later how to place accents, but for epsilon contracts, they're always going to follow the pattern of phile, where it's going to have an acute accent on the second to last syllable. So take a moment to notice that the verb phile is a command, and the verb phile is an indicative statement, he, she, it loves. The accents are very important in distinguishing the meaning. As usual, to be is irregular. The singular imperative of to be is isti, which means be when you're talking to just one person. A note on accents. Some of the thematic verbs, instead of being of the form lege, with an acute on the second to last syllable, will have a circumflex on the second to last syllable. So hurry is speude, and lift is aere. If you want to give a negative command, tell someone don't hurry, instead of using the word ou, which you learned means not, you use the word me, which is the word that means not specifically with commands. So me speude is don't hurry, me aere is don't lift, and me phile is don't love. That's it for now. See you next time.